back again, and this is an optional video, right? So you don't need to listen and watch this one, but if you are a Linux fan, then it might be interesting for you, right? Because we are going to do some performance testing with Linux virtual machines.
Exactly. So you see here in the failover cluster manager, the good old tool, I've installed multiple Linux versions because I can. And I think the second one is this machine here. So no, it's this third one, Linux Benchmark 3. This is Ubuntu desktop version.
Mhm.
I downloaded it, installed it, and with a 50 gigabyte virtual disk.
Mhm.
And after downloading it, you can install a tool that does the same than our good old I/O meter. And Bernhard, you actually found that, right? Do you want
Yeah,
to give
so
some context here?
so the tool is called FIO, FIO, FIO. I think that's the right pronunciation. It's not from Microsoft. It's a tool I think that is well known for I/O testing for the Linux folks out there, um, and it's rather mature, I would say, right? So the what you can do with it is it's quite impressive. However, it doesn't have a nice GUI, maybe, but you know, a Linux
At
man
least we,
doesn't.
we didn't found one, right?
Linux man doesn't need a GUI, right? So they do that via command line. So,
Exactly.
anyways, I mean, the task is, or the question would be, does a Linux machine show different results than your Windows IO meter box? Maybe we can do the test like, is Linux faster than Windows, or is it the other way around? I mean,
Yeah.
let's see how that performs, right?
Yeah. I
But you didn't do any tunings, right? So what you did was you have chosen the latest Ubuntu desktop. You have set the same virtual processors, the same memory.
exactly.
I would assume the same disk. Okay,
We we
yeah,
can have a
then
look here. You see, we have 8 virtual processors. We have also
right,
4 gigabytes of RAM,
right,
and we have a 50 gigabyte disk, and it's even in the same
okay,
CSV, so volume
location,
than
yeah,
our IO meter um,
okay,
VM. So same volume, same size, same processors, same
mm-hmm,
memory. Everything is the same.
mm-hmm,
And a quick addition, if you want to have a command line tool, you can also use disk SPD under Windows.
mm-hmm,
It would do roughly the same than FIO, let's say.
mm-hmm.
So the most difficult part under a Linux distribution is find the right installer to install the product, right? So in
If you're
and
not
in
familiar
Ubuntu,
with Linux, then yeah, then that's it. Then it happens to me. So apt-get install FIO. Okay,
yeah, I
that's
did that and I did that already. So it
mm,
is
installed.
installed. It will
Okay.
download all the dependencies and
Mhm.
install them. It was quite easy. And
Yep.
then another hard part is everything we did in the GUI. Yeah,
Mhm.
how large the file is where
Yep.
we do our testing. Here you see 10 gigabyte in size. I
Mhm.
have a test file in a separate directory.
Yep.
Um, we use an I/O depth of 10. That was our outstanding I/O in I/O
Mhm.
meter.
Mhm.
We have a block size of 8 kilobyte, and we have a read-write pattern of random read-write. So it
Right.
should do 50-50, and we will see
Yep.
that
Mhm.
because I tested it already. The
Okay.
other things you have to look up in the documentation. So we use the
Yep.
direct one. We use the libreo, whatever that means. Uh, it's the measurement is time based. We have some group reporting.
Mhm.
We name it IOP test job. I think it's for the
Yeah.
output, and we let the test run for the 120 seconds. Sorry. So let's
Yep.
go
Mhm.
in, right? So
Mhm. Okay,
so
so
now
you're studying 8 processes that are using the same file, right? So I mean, you could have different files, for every process, but you've chosen the file names, which creates only one file rather than 8 individual files, right?
yes. So, and
Okay.
I opened also Windows Admin Center. So we have
Hmm.
some information here. we have already 24% of the test duration is up.
Mhm.
So we said 2 minutes. We see we read 370 mega MIB. That's the correct one, right? And
Maybe bytes.
MIBI, yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
And
Yeah.
the same amount, roughly the same amount we
Mm.
write. So it's also 50-50 test. We
Mhm.
see we have the same amount of IOPS. So roughly,
Okay.
if you add these, it's roughly over 90,000 IO operations per second. And
Mhm.
we have the same here in Windows Admin Center to check this. Let's move this a
Okay.
little bit down here. So you see here is our IOPS and here's our
Mhm.
data we move. It's 50-50. And here
Mhm.
you see our latencies, 70 microseconds and 280 microseconds. So it
Which is
does
nice, right?
roughly yeah, it's nice. And the
Mm.
numbers are better than the numbers we have seen in IOmeter
Mhm.
before.
Yeah. We had
But
some
I
issues, right? With
yeah,
the well,
somehow it was tired or the disks were too new or whatever. So
okay.
we will start it again. And last time I checked, we had roughly the same values that we
Mhm.
get with FIO, and it should be the same,
Yeah.
right?
So what you should see is, you should see almost equal number of IOPS throughout the test, right? So you shouldn't see a massive drop or rise or, some
Yeah.
outages. This is not
I
something
scroll up
that
a
you should
bit.
see,
So
right?
what do you
So
mean
it,
here that there is
yeah,
a drop somewhere and there is
should
a
be,
read
right?
80 and something, right?
However,
You
I
mean that?
mean, if you have other workload running on that cluster at the same time,
Mhm.
then it will obviously drop, right? Because we don't do any quality of service here. That's
Yeah.
we could, but we haven't done so. So the system takes what it gets, and this is currently what it is capable of, right? So, and that's why we should test on an empty system, right? After the deployment, have nothing on, do it right afterwards. Then you should see stable, consistent IOPS, and then you know that at least you can go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you see here we have roughly 90,000 IOPS,
Hmm.
8K, full
Hmm.
random,
Hmm.
and that's quite good.
I like it.
Um, Something you should expect. So I promised we will also have another look at the Windows machine. So
Hmm.
let's no, don't do that. I do this, and you will say you are already connected. So I have to log
Hmm.
in again. We'll do that. And you see, this was the last run here. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's not running because the flag is there to press on it. So the last one was
Hmm.
90,709. I don't get it. Not megabytes. It's megabytes or
Maybe
so.
bytes. No, I don't know.
Maybe
Maybe but
bytes. Okay,
maybe
and
bytes. I don't know.
let's run it
Yeah, start it.
again. So it's in the same volume than our
Hmm.
Linux VM. So here you see it's a little bit less. So in the moment we have 85,000. The Linux machine was a bit over 90,000. So it's a
Hmm.
little bit less, but it will get there. So we
So
were
we will
before the
say like
video we were
Linux.
we were
Linux is
joking,
a bit.
right?
Linux is a little bit faster than Windows.
I
Well,
can't, I can't, I can't second that. I can't. It's not
no, we don't
possible
know.
for me.
Well, you have an update frequency from 5 seconds, so it might,
Yeah,
bump up or jump down a little bit. I mean,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But it should be the same. And in other
Mm,
tests, it was the same. So
yep.
I didn't want to reinstall the Windows machine, or so it is fine. And I like IOmeter because
Hmm.
you see immediately what's happening, even with the latencies, and
Right.
you see it's the same latency than in the Linux machine. And
Hmm.
all the guys who like Linux more than Windows, I'm sure there's also tools where you can see the latency and so on. Yeah?
Yep.
Okay, so
Cool.
this concludes our first benchmark, or
Hmm.
the second, really. So this
Yeah.
machine shows us what a virtual machine can get out of the system. And it's quite nice. And I would love to have more than 100,000, and usually I am, but here we want to go on with the videos and not
Hmm.
not
Trouble
find the
optimize.
last percentages we can press out of the system, right?
Okay, so
Okay.
now we tested 2 individual virtual machines performance, and now I
Yeah.
think we should test a lot of virtual machines performance.
Yeah.
on
Now
that
now we
system.
go to the Uber test. So the the mother
Okay.
of tests. So see you
Yeah.
in the next video. And I
Yeah.
think that would be multiple videos because first video is set up VM fleet and then we play around with it. Huh? Should we do that?
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see how it turns out. Okay. Bye.
Bye bye.